From two dirty painters to multiple seven-figure business owners, I'm Redion.
And I'm Karmelo.
And we'll be giving you guys the insider secrets to take your trade business to the next level.
From crazy stories to proven strategies, get ready to supercharge your business with us.
Welcome to the Dirty Painters Podcast. All right, guys, today we're joined by our first guest officially on our podcast. We have Justin and Fallon from Rustic Grain Designs of Tampa. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
So today we're going to be kind of getting a background of how Justin and Fallon got started in the business, what made them get started in the cabinet business, how you guys get along with being a husband and wife team. Just give us a whole rundown.
First of all, thank you for allowing us to come on, especially being your first guest on this podcast.
Thank you guys for coming.
It. Yep. So like Redion said, we're Justin and Fallon Asherman. We're owners of Rustic Grain Designs. We started the business in 2017. We basically moved out to the country, and Fallon and I both have 5 boys. And so we moved out to the country. We wanted a huge dining room table. Fallon approached me and was like, hey, I don't want to pay such and such amount for this table. Can you build it? I was like, all right, cool. So basically went to Harbor Freight, got a, miter saw, and then that's it. Went to town, started building, and it kind of evolved from there. I also was a firefighter for 17 years, recently retired, April 2024, to pursue Rustic Grain Designs full time. So within that time period, 2017 to 2024, it was kind of just like a side gig.
So you guys started in 2017. What did you do before Fallon?
I was teacher by trade.
Nice.
And when we had our twins, I started working from home. I do contract sales with the local company, and that's my full-time day job. And so we would have projects that I would finish at like 2 a.m. That was how we would get projects out the door prior at like 2017. Now I have a little bit more flexibility, and we intend to go full-time with Rustic Grain for myself, along with Justin soon.
What do you think made Justin to take that leap to go full-time from his firefighter position to just run Rustic Grain Designs based on like your point of view?
It was a mix of things. One was the time that we needed to dedicate to Rustic Grain in order to grow it more than it was at the moment. We were turning down jobs, and that hurt to have to do. But at the same time, I needed him at home more. Our kids, the youngest are 10 and the oldest is 16. And you'd think that when they're babies, you need more help, but actually when they're teenagers, you need more help. So I was completely on board with him being home full time now.
Nice. I've been to your shop. Me and Justin, how we met at the Vegas Expo for the cabinet wood, like what was it called?
It was like a woodworking fair, basically.
Yeah, so we met there. We've been friends on Instagram for since we came down to Tampa, I think. And then we met there officially, and now we do business together. He builds doors for us. We finish them. I've been to their shop. Their shop is absolutely sick. I'm going to give you that. He has the dust extractors. He has all the equipment, the sanders. So it's a legit shop. So that's how me, Justin, and Karmelo met in Vegas. What was it, like a year ago? A year ago.
Around August or July.
6
End
months.
of July, yeah.
Yeah, so
Feels like a year ago.
Damn, time flies, man.
I know.
Damn. So yeah, now we do business together. Like I said, he builds doors for us when we need them. And they're pretty big on social media. They have a pretty massive following for a trades company. Who was responsible for that? You, Justin, or you, Fallon?
It's completely Justin.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what made you start taking social media seriously, because a lot of trades people, they just brush it off like, oh, it's just Instagram. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in 2018, we went to a conference in Atlanta, and that's really what sparked social media for us. The conference really showed us the backside of it, be able to work with brands, also what we needed to actually post and what type of content we needed to create. So once I saw the value of it in 2018, that's when I really started pushing. How we grew to where we were, I literally posted every single day for a year and a half straight. Never missed a day once. Christmas Day, I'm posting a video on Instagram. That consistency over that year and a half is kind of what prompted us to grow to where we are today. So,
What type of content do you usually post on your page for people that I know what kind of, but for people that they don't know you?
so strictly videos. Probably the last year and a half has been strictly reels, just because Instagram has really been pushing reels, especially since the end of 2022. Um, they started paying people to be able to post reels. So once they started that, it's just strictly reels. That's it.
So the one reel that I think caught my attention and made me follow you guys was when you were staining that big, was it like a big
It was
black
a
door? Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think you had like what 15 million views, something crazy like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then I clicked, and I know I sent it to Carmelo. I was like, "Damn, look at this!" And then that's when we recreated a video, and it went viral too, with the black stain. That was it you or you doing it?
It was me.
It was you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like the type of content.
Okay. The Rubio product. Yeah, that's the one finishing product that he still does.
The stain,
The Rubio.
nice.
Yeah.
So did you have any specific strategies on your social media, or just winged it? It's like content, volume, volume, volume.
It was just volume, and it's weird because you can't predict what's going to do good with the algorithm. There's no way to do it. I never thought in a million years that video would get 16 million views, be my highest video still to date. And it's something so simple, had no audio to it. It was literally just applying a streak of black stain, and that's it.
So there is no specific strategy.
Nope.
We just take pieces of a project and just film every small portion of the process. And then out of one project, you could have 15, 20 pieces of content based on
The long form video.
yeah.
How has those kind of videos that have gone viral, because you have a few that have gone viral, kind of like position your brand, your business into the local market? How has that changed your business?
I mean, it brought us two together, right?
Yes.
That's the biggest thing is what social media does for us is it brings us business, it brings us customers, it brings us friends as well. That's the biggest contributing factor that social media does for us, for sure.
Kind of touching on the friends part, I think that was another, that's what brought us to the content creator conference, was the amount of people that he had connected with on social media that then became friends from troubleshooting issues in a project, or asking for advice, or asking him for advice, or even business advice. The amount of valuable information that they share with each other is amazing, because we're all in a similar industry, but everyone can eat. And
Nice.
so everybody shares. It's really neat. I really appreciate the connections we've made.
So the key relationships, you think that's what was the most important from your social media growth and
Absolutely.
the awareness?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how do you guys tell us a little bit how you guys split the business side? Like I know you're at the shop building, running the guys. What's your role in that, Fallon?
I show up to paint whenever he tells me. He usually schedules me about a day and a half to get a project out the door. No, I'm being a little exaggerant, but when we first started with with the original table that was our dining room table, he said, "I'll build it, but you're going to finish it." I said, "Okay, all right. How hard could it be?" And so from then on, it was my job to finish everything that went out the door, and we still stick to that model, and it's done well for us. There, actually, just the other day, I tried to pick up a large panel and I dropped it, and I had some words for myself, and then I know he probably had some words that he didn't say out loud, but I thought, man, it's a good thing I'm his wife and not an employee, because this could have gone badly, but it never does for us. It works that we can just regroup, back up, and get it fixed and get it out the door.
How did you learn how to finish?
The internet and friends on social media. Yeah, it was. It was at the conference, the original conference that he talked about. We go to that every year now. So since we first started, we try to make a point to get to Georgia for that. We're not going this year, but In doing so, I met with a paint sprayer company that the employees of that company became my friends. And if I had an issue or something I needed to troubleshoot with them, I'd call them up, or um, their employees, numerous ones. Some have come and gone, and they still will help me fix anything that goes south.
What were some rookie mistakes that you can look back when you first started that you think back, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that?
When I first started, I was using a brush and a roller, and Justin came to Jess and said, "You're not going to do that anymore. You're going to use a spray gun." And I was like, "No, please don't." And but I knew it's what we had to do to get our finish to the next level. So I stepped off that ledge and fell down into that abyss. But stain, I still hate stain to this day. I've made a lot of rookie mistakes with stain and top coats, but
What's the first one that comes in mind when you?
one door that I thought that you were talking about, where I put a oil-based finish down and then used a different product for the top coat.
Uh-oh.
And this door was an antique. I mean, when you say detailed, this thing had more crevices and cracks than the sidewalk, and we had to refinish that door. We had to take it all the way back down.
You guys had to strip it completely?
Mm-hmm.
Twice.
Twice?
Twice.
His blood pressure is going
Yeah.
up. He's like
He's
turning
getting
red.
flashbacks.
The worst project
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Justin, what are some rookie mistakes that you think you did starting in the business that you would advise anybody getting into the business to avoid?
The rookie mistake that I made is not investing quicker into machinery that will create efficiency. What I mean by that is I used to build cabinets by hand for 4 years or something like that. And I invested in the end of 2021, a CNC machine. What was taking me 3 weeks to do by hand, can now do it in about 2 days. So
Wow.
the efficiency and the more work that we can take on now because of the CNC machine, like it pays for itself within no time. So it's kind of no brainer.
And another thing to emphasize on what Justin is saying. So, for example, we've had other people build doors for us when we did a refacing job, and they were drilling the hinge holes by hand, and it was taking forever. And then I remember I came to his shop. I'm like, "Are you gonna be able to do it?" He's like, "Yeah, I got you. I'll do it in like 10 minutes." And next thing you know, he starts with like, just all the holes were done, like I think like 20 minutes tops. I was like, wow. What's that machine called that you had in the back of your shop that was drilling the hinges?
The Bloom mini press.
The Blue Mini Press.
Yeah.
That was crazy. So yeah, 20 minutes. I've seen other guys take 3-4 days to do the hinge holes, and it took you literally 20 minutes. So yeah, invest in machines, guys.
Yeah.
It'll save you time.
We have a first-hand example of this too. This week we've been waiting on 8 doors on a built-in project that the carpenter has been taking 3 weeks to build. He's doing everything by hand, and the client is a little bit like, come on. I know it's good work, but 3 weeks for a built-in?
Yeah.
His house has been a job site for 3 weeks like that.
With the Robin's job?
The one in Wesley Chapel.
Do you all give your jobs nicknames?
We have to.
Yeah, we do
It's easier
too.
to keep track, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Do you actually name it by the client's name or just whatever?
By the client's name, or if we have like an annoying client, we'll
Yeah.
like give
A
him
nickname.
a nickname.
That's what I meant.
Oh, so it depends. They'll never know who we're talking about. So even if they're listening to this, you guys will never know. We love you all. So you guys, all your social media growth has been organic, right? You've never run any paid ads? Never. So what's like one or two key relationship besides us that you can think of? Like, for example, like a job or like a big job, like a big ticket that you think you would have never gotten if you didn't have social media?
There's more than just a couple.
Just give me the biggest ticket.
Oh,
Tell me how much it was too.
oh,
Come on.
man.
It's okay.
The biggest ticket was 95 grand,
Okay.
and it was a kitchen, laundry room, entryway.
Okay. And how'd you get that job?
So that job came from a recommendation from a cabinet maker in North Carolina or South Carolina. So this client is here locally in Tampa, and she followed him. Well, she had reached out, said she wanted the specific type cabinets, and he's like, "Look, I'm not going to Tampa. Like, there's no way." He's like, "But I have somebody that I would highly, highly recommend." So he reached out, gave me all the information. I contacted her. I didn't think it was going to be as big of a job as it is now, but yeah, that would have never happened without social media, without me connecting with that person that's in North Carolina. I would have never thought that he would have gave me a referral here in Tampa. That would be my biggest project of the year. So,
Wow. So to summarize this, the carpenter from North Carolina
yep.
has been following you on Instagram, has seen your work, has seen your quality of work,
Mm-hmm.
and then a mutual acquaintance of him
Mm-hmm.
tried to fly him down to Tampa to get the job done, but he wouldn't come down here. So he recommended you based on your social media presence, what you showcased, and your branding.
Yep.
That's pretty neat. We
Yeah.
had that happen a few times too.
Yeah, most of our big tickets have been social media,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
which is crazy to think about.
famous people, big designers, or like even like the Buffalo Wild Wings job.
That was social media too.
Like we did a bunch of Buffalo Wild Wings here in Tampa area,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy was literally from Washington D.C. We never met him, and he just saw a reel that went viral, and he's like, "Oh, I know the perfect guys that can do all the stain work."
Neat.
And then
Cool.
that was one of one of the biggest tickets that we've had from social media. All right, moving on. I want you guys to tell us a little bit about the challenge that you're facing right now. I know you have like what 3 employees. You guys are very, very custom, like high quality, super custom, super high end carpentry. What are some of the challenges that you're facing with your business currently right now?
We need a bigger machine.
Yeah.
A bigger CNC
Upgrading.
machine?
Yep, upgrading the machines.
Yeah. So our current CNC is a 4x8 CNC. It's actually for sale if anybody is interested.
Shameless
I know
plug.
this will drop in a couple of weeks, but hopefully I sell it by then. So we end up investing into a 5x10, mainly just because it's faster, it's bigger. We can do larger pieces, stuff like that. But yeah, like you said, we are fully custom. And that is kind of the challenge that we deal with, that the clientele, it's not as vast as somebody just needing a regular cabinet. But what makes us unique is, for instance, this job that was our biggest ticket. There was a lot of complex things a part of that job. She had went to a couple different cabinet companies and was like, "Hey, this is what I want." They're like, "No, we can't do that. There's no way we can do that." Well, that's what makes us a little bit unique, is that they come to us with those problems and we figure out how to engineer it and actually execute what they're actually looking for.
How do you find good talent to help you delegate tasks within the business? What's your hiring process, your training process? How do you guys run through that?
Social media.
Social media?
Yep. Yeah, we put a story out on Instagram, said that we were hiring, and we got a couple applicants. The person that we hired, he left a 9 to 5 job. He kind of had like a side gig, and he wanted to do something like this full time. So, yeah, I brought him in for a day, and that was kind of like his interview. Had him work with me and saw what he was about. Saw that he was good. That's it.
Do you guys have a
So,
training process that you take them through, or you just looking for people with experience? How does like the onboarding of a new team member works?
There's definitely a training process. One of the things that makes us unique as well is how particular and like OCD I am on stuff. Like, I want it to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, then we're redoing it. And so to get somebody else's mindset into the same mindset as mine, it could be a little challenging. So it's definitely all on board training. And it helps if they have a little bit of experience, but really I would rather them not have any experience at all. And I can kind of mold them to what I want them to do, and, the steps to take and stuff like that.
Because I saw your shop, you have a lot of expensive, fancy machines.
Yeah.
Like it was like a lab in there.
Yeah.
So you train them on like every machine. This is how it works. This is how it operates.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you press the buttons and all that, right?
Yep.
And we've had to take some losses. We've
Yeah.
had some learning experiences.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask that next. What are some of the biggest losses that you guys had in the business?
These usually only happen. Well, these really started happening when we started hiring employees.
Mhm.
You know, before I can control it, and if it was my mistake, it was my mistake. But when we started hiring employees, it was a totally different game. Then, you try to minimize that stuff, but within like the first 2 or 3 days that one of the new guys was there, he wired one of the vacuum pumps wrong, and we turned the power on. It completely shot the pump, and it was like, $1,500 pump right down the drain.
But we were out of business.
Yeah.
Couldn't operate for a
Yeah.
couple days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've had a few of those happen with our guys too. With like the catalyzed product. If you don't wash it off your pump is toast.
Mhm.
We've had at least like 4 or 5 pumps go down the drain
Yeah.
because of guys, like, oh yeah, I'll go to lunch and I'll be back and I'll respray the next coat, and then the pump is like hardened. It's like rock.
It's not shooting out. Quick question I wanted to ask you guys: when hiring, would you rather have somebody that's trainable, willing to learn, or somebody that is already experienced, but maybe you butt heads with them sometimes?
Definitely the first.
Yeah. Trainable
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes it very difficult trying to, and luckily being a firefighter, I was promoted the last 3 years that I was a firefighter to lieutenant. So that's what I did. I managed people, I managed crews, I managed scenes, all that stuff. So I had a lot of experience in that aspect of it. And it was always easier if somebody came to our fire department that had no fire experience at all. It was very easy to be able to train them and mold them to where we want them to be. Somebody that came with experience, it was always like trying to push them and butt heads with them and stuff, trying to change them. It was very difficult.
Can teach an old dog new tricks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, good attitude will beat experience all the time. It's the same with us.
And that's why I value who we have now too. I think they want to learn and they're willing to listen to critique and change what they're doing. So that's why we value who we have now for
That's
sure.
awesome. Are your kids involved in the business? Are you teaching them the business?
Not at all.
I don't know.
Our 16-year-old and our 15-year-old, we've offered it to them, but they're not interested. And so we're not interested in paying somebody who doesn't want to be there. So it's kind of like the same thing as if one of them works at Subway.
Oh, wow.
He could make more with us, but we're like, no,
Look,
we run a
us-
business.
Us, we loved going to work with our dad when we were younger, and that's how we learned how to be a tradesperson because our
Mhm.
dad had a general contracting business in Greece for 30 years. So he would always take us with him just to watch and
Yeah.
broom floors.
Yeah.
Tape baseboards.
Yeah, stay out
sometimes.
of trouble. So that's why I was curious.
I came from a childhood that's similar. My parents always owned their own business. My mom always did the bookkeeping and the paperwork side of things, and my dad ran a lawn and pool business, and I always went with him on the routes and learned all the things. And I think that's kind of why I make a good compliment to Justin too, because I've been doing it my whole life.
Nice. Where are you guys originally from? Tampa?
We're right from here. Yeah, born and
Nice.
raised.
Born and raised.
Oh, nice. Justin, you're pretty successful in what you do. And then we have a lot of carpenters that they watch our podcast and then they follow us. So I want you to give 3 pieces of advice for somebody to try to get to your level, social media awareness, your following, the brand awareness, and then to the quality, because I've seen your quality of work. It's phenomenal. And then another piece of advice, how to scale and how to recruit those people.
I would say, as far as social media aspect, we kind of touched on it before. You just have to be consistent. That's the biggest thing with social media is consistency.
Like, how do you attract your target customer? For example, the high-end designers, the key relationships. What kind of content do you think you have to show them to attract that customer, the target avatar?
I would say the unique parts of it that they're not seeing everywhere else, such as like pocket doors for cabinets that pull out and then slide back into the cabinet. Something that kind of sets you apart from everyone else. That's probably what somebody like that's looking for.
I should add that early on in his stories, he would give processes and advice and step-by-step directions on what he was doing. And so he gave a level of expertise out to your DIYers and your people that were in the garages, because we're from there, we're from the garage to where we are now in the shop. And he spent a lot of time contributing to everyone else's knowledge too. So he gave valuable information. And we still do. It's just now it's more reels and videos and processes because our time is spent with the employees and getting projects out the door.
So educating your audience pretty much, giving
Absolutely.
value out and showcasing your expertise, like what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
And he spent quite a bit of time in his DMs too. If someone would reach out and have a question about something, he would spend the time to answer them and help walk them through the way he would do it or our experiences.
nice. So number one, showcase expertise by giving value and
Absolutely.
actually telling people that, hey, I know my stuff. I know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
How about systems? How about somebody that wants to have your nice shop, like you have it running, it's spotless, it's super clean and all that. What kind of systems you advise somebody to set in place to get to that level?
Hire people. That's the biggest thing. I mean, my shop was always pretty clean, but having employees now, especially younger employees that, are in college or whatever, they make sure that place is spick and span. And that's what, that's
The
why
one-
it is what it is.
The one he's speaking of is our nephew.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
my nephew that works with us as our third person.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the nephew wants to come work with you guys, but
The
the
kids
sons
Kids
are
don't.
like, I'll go Subway. That's
Yep.
interesting.
Yep. I'd say one of the biggest recommendations I would say too for, someone, even if it's not in Tampa or, they want to try to scale their business is, and me and Redion were talking about this before the show started, is you have to really surround yourself with specific people that are going to get you to be successful. There's no way in hell that, I don't know if I could say that on here or not, but
Go ahead.
There's no way.
Shop talk. We're the dirty painters.
there we go. There's no way in hell that I would be where I am if I didn't surround myself with specific people. What I mean by that is in my line of work, being custom cabinetry, I'm going to surround myself with finishers such as you, interior designers, general contractors is another big, company that I get a lot of work for.
Okay.
Going directly to a homeowner is very difficult to try to get those high-end jobs. Those high-end jobs are coming from interior designers. They're not coming from, Mr. Smith down the road that wants a built-in he's going to hire an interior designer to design it.
Correct.
And then they'll bring me in to be able to accomplish it. So definitely surround yourself with people that you're not going to be able to do this by yourself. There's no way.
So focus on the key relationships. If you're starting out or if you're like an established business and you want to grow to the level that Justin has grown his business, focus on the key relationships and surround your people like designers, GCs, and what was the other one?
Finishing company.
Finishing companies. Okay, that's a good piece of advice for any carpenters out there. Finish carpentry like yourself. And then also invest in machinery, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious, how much is that new machine that you want to buy, the new CNC machine?
It's like 70-ish
Woo.
grand, something like that.
It's like a Shelby price.
Yeah.
You could buy a car for it.
Sports car.
Yeah.
We, that would be another important relationship is our vendors. That's been a huge way that we've acquired the machinery that we have. Maybe not free, but at deep discounts in order to educate our audience about what it is that they offer.
Okay, so those opportunities came from social media, right?
Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely. And usually when we begin talking with them, we tell them this is not our main revenue. Like we're not interested in making money off of our followers. We're not interested in pushing products in order to gain a kickback. We need the product because we believe in their product, and that's what we would showcase as we're using it.
We're the same way. That's why we drop brands like this no matter how much they pay us.
Absolutely.
For example, if the paint is not performing, I don't care how much money you're paying me monthly to sponsor me. I don't care. If my customers are not happy, we're dropping you right away.
Yep.
And
It's our name on it.
exactly. We've had quite a few as well, like machines, sanders, a lot of those things. So
Yeah.
We're not gonna push anything to our audience that we don't actually use ourselves. Because my brother, that's what he does. He every time we get a new product, he stress tests it, he takes it through everything
Uh-huh.
before we actually start putting it into customers' houses.
Well, that's good.
And like the issue I was telling you like earlier, that was one that we stress test. It was performing good, and then now we're having issues with a customer. That's why we want to have the rep out. Be like, hey, what the heck is going on?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not mostly about the money. It just tarnishes your brand at that
Yeah.
point
It's
because
your name on it.
yeah, exactly. I don't know if we touched up on this or brushed up on it earlier, but early on when you guys started out, what was one of your struggles? Like lead generation is usually something we usually hear, but what was your guys's
I
early
will
on
say
struggles?
that we began furniture. We were building furniture, and we realized quickly that Justin, he only wants to give the best, and in doing so, it took the time. And then your price point is you kicked yourself out of the market. So we quickly realized that furniture was not where it's at. Anyone can go anywhere and buy a table, but with cabinetry, they have a specific need, and we could fulfill that need. So that's when we pivoted. I can't remember the exact year it was.
It's like 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
We went from being furniture builders to custom cabinetry. For that reason, it was a challenge to have someone willing to pay for the quality of product that they're out there, absolutely, but they're fewer and far between. And so that's what brought us into cabinetry.
How'd you guys stay busy in the beginning? Like, how'd you get those jobs? Just because
Face-
I'm sure you
no.
didn't have 150,000 followers right off the bat.
We had friends, Facebook. We never did like Facebook Marketplace ads or anything, but our friends on Facebook, oh, I want a table too. I want a table too. I want a sofa table, all the different things that was back when Farmhouse was in style, so that helped too. And then we didn't have time. He was working all the time. I was working all the time. And so we had to say, we can't do everything. It wasn't a problem having leads. It was a problem having time.
Got it. Okay, so you never struggled with having work and keeping busy.
Just because the market in Tampa, there's so many new people coming in all the time.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that we talk to, the biggest struggle is like we don't have work. We don't have work. I mean, all the people that we consult as well, that's the main reason they come to us. They don't have leads.
So I will say this, one of the biggest challenges now that I face currently as I sit in this chair is it's not necessarily getting work, but since adding employees, the pressure of me getting work is it's a lot more. No matter what, that payroll's coming out every single week. And so when we first started taking payroll out, when we had the employees, I looked at the account and I was like, hey, what did you buy? And she's like, I didn't buy anything. That's payroll for the week. I'm like, are you serious? Like that's for the week? Yeah, that's for the week. I was like, oh my gosh. So that number, in the grand scheme of things for businesses, it probably wasn't very much, but for us coming from no employees to 2 employees, like, man, that payroll's coming out. So it doesn't matter. So the pressure of generating more work and having that more work on the books guaranteed it's a lot more now than it has ever been.
How do you think, what are your strategies as a business owner to overcome those challenges moving forward? In 2024, what are some goals that you set for your business to overcome those challenges?
Grind. Yep. Like literally, I'm reaching out to you earlier and, I'm reaching out to, because now, especially having employees, I can get through a project way faster than I ever did before. And so we're cranking out projects still at the very top of the line level faster than I've ever had. And I only have 3 employees. So
you want to increase the volume?
100%. And that's one of the biggest reasons why we got that new machine is to increase that volume. That machine's going to be a lot faster than what we have. So
would you ever shy away from the employee-based model to a performance-based model in your business as you grow further, you bring more projects in, that way you can give more responsibility to your team members? Or you think you'll be able to grow with the employee model moving forward? Let's say you 2x or you 3x your business in 2024.
No, I definitely would. That's what I'm currently trying to do is put people in place to do that part of it, to do the CNC, to do the day-to-day operations of the shop, run the shop, and I'll run the business. So that's definitely my goal within the next 2 to 3 years is for sure do that.
Because one stepping stone for Olympian and for Precision, because we have multiple locations, it was stepping away from the employee kind of babysitting people
Yeah.
to performance pay and giving people more responsibility and more authority as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that way they're more responsible for the projects, and then they're part of it. That's why we call them team members. We shy away from the employee model because it just creates a lot of problems, especially when we're growing the business in Tampa. In the beginning was a nightmare, training all those people, losing tens of thousands of dollars in getting our pumps ruined and redoing jobs.
Basically working on the field ourselves too.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the field every day trying to teach those people. And also we flipped the switch. All of a sudden, the same people, it were like new persons. Just because they're like, oh, now I'm making a little bit more money. Now I have more responsibility. Right. And then everything just changed. And it has been able to help us grow much faster and open up new locations. And then obviously our team members that make more money as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely, what I've noticed for my very short time of employing people is you definitely got to take care of them. You got to make sure that they feel valued, that they're getting paid appropriately, and that they're appreciated for sure. So you take care of them, they'll take care of you for sure.
Exactly. First, you take care of your employees, then the customers, because without the employees or the team members, you can't produce. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Anything else that you'd like to add? We usually get into some questions from my audience, and you guys can put some input in there. We'll give them some advice. If there's anything else to add, I'll go on the first question.
Sure. Sounds good.
All right. So first question from one of our followers, Cody Paints from Tennessee, that specifically to me and Karmelo, because you guys have not relocated yet. You've been in Tampa forever. So he's asking us if we could give him a checklist for someone that wants to relocate their business and how to attract new business in a new market. Karmelo, you can go on and answer Cody first.
So how we relocated from Michigan to Tampa is originally you just came down here, did some market research, see how the development was going and everything. And once you like the area, we started, there's this marketing strategy that you used called blitz marketing. So he basically attacked the whole ad space. So people would just be seeing us. And even if we weren't getting any, results immediately, people were still
Yeah, we're building our social equity.
Exactly.
One thing I'm going to tell you, Cody, if you want to jump into a new market, and I'm hoping you're not trying to come down to Tampa, if you don't have a big budget, like Justin was saying earlier, you have to grind. So if you come down here and you're a nice finisher, you have a high quality product, I would come down here. Besides the awareness ads, let's say you have a $0 marketing dollar budget, I would go to every design firm, every designer's office, every realtor's office, and I'll be like, hey, if you're a cabinet finisher, for example, I did that. I was like, let me paint a vanity for free for you. That way you can see what my product is, what our lines of communication are, and then how we perform, how we show up to a customer's house, how we're like neat and clean. So that will be number one. Then let's say if you have a decent marketing budget, then you can run the blitz ads. You can just like run awareness, which are very cheap. You're not trying to generate leads. You just run your ads, just make people aware of like, hey, I'm in the market, I'm existing, let me know. And that way you'll start building some local followers. People will start seeing your stuff. And then that way you'll start putting the word out by yourself. So those will be the two main things. Focus on the key relationships that we mentioned earlier in this episode. And then just run very minimal marketing so people can know that you exist. Unless you come with $100,000 marketing budget, which I was scared to do at the time. But now every location we do, we have like about 150K worth of marketing budget, and we go there and we just dominate the ad space. And in the first month, we have a 7-figure business running, which that would be the fastest way. But if you don't have those capabilities, just grind. Like Justin said, go out there and grind, and you'll get the word out if you do good work. All right, and we have another question from Rep Painting from Michigan. And then he's asking, do you find it better to keep your schedule booked out 3 to 6 months at a time or shorter lead times and have more crews efficiently knocking out projects and faster? Justin, you want to answer him first?
Ideally, I would like to be the shorter lead times and have more crews for sure. But that
How far booked out do you stay?
currently we're probably around 8 weeks, something like that, usually.
In
I would-
previous, we've been 6 to, yeah, we've been further.
Yeah.
So you guys prefer a shorter lead time?
Yeah, that's what we wanted to deliver, and that's why the hiring of the employees. When we first started, we were 3 months, 6 months lead time was definitely out there.
Okay. So, rep painting from Michigan. How we run our Olympia and our precision locations, we don't run further than a month. We run like a 3 to 4. We call it a floating schedule. We never guarantee spots or prices further out unless it's like a big project or like a big contract. That way, that gives us the ability to hire more crews, run projects more efficiently, and also serve customers faster because I think customers, they don't like waiting around.
Nope.
Absolutely.
They might get buyer's remorse and like, yeah, you know what? I don't need my cabinets painted that much. And they change their mind. That's why I think running a 3 to 4 week schedule on every location helps keeping the demand high, also keeping the prices fluctuating. That's why every time we do an estimate, we can guarantee our prices past 48 hours because we get new leads all the time. And another red flag from all the people that reach out to me and they're like, oh yeah, I'm so booked out and all that. I think that's a big red flag if you're a business owner because it means your systems are not efficient or you don't have enough the capability to produce the work. That's why a lot of people, when they come out and they flex on me like, yeah, I'm 7 months out. I'm like, bro, I can be 24 months out if I'm just me and my brother painting. That's great, but that doesn't show that you're running an efficient, profitable business.
Right.
So yeah, keep it out. Work on keeping it 3 to 4 weeks. If you get past that, you either hire more crews or work harder, work longer, pay your guys more and get those jobs done faster and then bring more fresh leads in. That way you can keep producing. Do you have anything to add on that, Carmelo?
Yeah, and especially if you're booked that much out, maybe you have to look at your prices too. Maybe increase them a little bit. That's why you're having trouble turning them over.
Maybe you're too cheap.
Yeah.
Who knows?
If you're getting every job, you need to figure something else out because there's a reason why you're getting every job.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You need to get some zeros and then
No, 100%.
Yeah,
We run, a lot of people are like, oh, what's your closing ratio? And I'm like, 20 to 30%. They're like, oh, that sucks. I'm like, no, it doesn't. I don't want every person that I quote to work for them.
Yeah, you don't want to book all the leads you get in.
That's why, like, a
100%.
lot of times we'll shoot crazy prices just because we can't keep up with the demand. And if we actually land it, then we turn things around, we make it happen, and it's worth all the hustle to get it done.
If you guys are interested in having a question answered, feel free to reach us out on social media, and then we'll include it in our next episodes. Please comment below if you're watching this on YouTube.
Yeah, or like just send us a DM, my Instagram or Carmelo's. We'll always do Q&As, and then we're more than happy to answer your questions, guys.
Or if you have any carpentry questions, feel free to reach out to Justin.
let me know.
Rustic Grain Designs.
All right, guys, that wraps up our second episode of the Dirty Painters podcast.
Be sure to follow our business on Instagram at Olympian Painting and also our personal accounts at Olympian_Redion and at Olympian_Karmelo for more content. And don't forget to follow Justin at Rustic Grain Designs Tampa to learn more about Justin and his business and what he's up to.
If you guys like this episode, be sure to share it with a fellow tradie or painter. Until next time, this is Redion,
And I'm Karmelo.
signing off from the Dirty Painters podcast.